Arsenal have got some tough decisions to make. And if I'm being honest, I think there's more than one. I think there's two decisions that I'm looking at and saying, we have to get this right. Because if we don't, it doesn't only impact us now, but going forward as well. And I definitely want to get people's opinions and thoughts on it. Before we get into it though, very quickly, if you could do me a favour, just hit like on this video. So the first thing I want to ask is, obviously Arsenal's playing Inter Milan tomorrow in the Champions League. And the same as every other video I do, I want to get people's score predictions. In the last game, no one got the correct score prediction right. The game before, we had a few people. And as always, I will flash it up on screen when I do the breakdown to show everyone your superior football knowledge. So before we get into the video, just let me know, what's your score prediction for the Arsenal versus Inter Milan game? So I think we need to get a couple of things right going into this game. We obviously need to build some momentum. Like, Arsenal have got some massive games coming up. We're going through a bit of a rocky patch. Arsenal were good only a month ago, and then kind of the last few weeks we've maybe been a bit, I don't know, hit and miss. There's a game where you think, oh, I like what we're doing there, but then you look at another game and you say, oh, we're probably struggling. I think Ethan Nwaneri is going to be a massive talking point going into this game. Do you play Ethan Nwaneri? I'm serious, I'm asking you, do you play Ethan Nwaneri in this game? Arsenal seem to be lacking this creativity. Arsenal seem to be focused on being this good defensive unit, but we're probably killing slightly some of that attacking creativity and flair and dynamic play that we're so used to seeing. Now, obviously a massive factor of that is because we're missing Martin Odegaard. But you can't blame that on every single game or every single performance, because there's players out on the pitch that are not performing in an attacking sense. So, yes, we miss Martin Odegaard, but we still should have enough quality to cause teams some problems. Like Saka, we see him come back in the Liverpool game and he had an instant impact. So we just need to keep seeing that going forward. And we do need players like Havertz, who I don't think's been playing that bad actually, but we need to keep him scoring goals. We see it in the last Champions League game. He scored that brilliant header. But players like Trossard, Martinelli, Jesus, we need to be seeing more impact. Now, in the last Champions League, did Havertz score in the last one or the one before? Anyway, Havertz has scored in the Champions League. Martinelli in the last game as well, the Shakhtar game. He was the catalyst for the goal, wasn't he? Cut inside, had the shot, and it bounced off the keeper and went in. We need to see more of that. I love Gabriel Martinelli, but we do need to see more output. I think it will come. I still have faith in Gabriel Martinelli, but we need to start seeing it. I still would start Gabriel Martinelli ahead of Trossard, ahead of Sterling, ahead of probably Gabriel Jesus as well. So I still do think it will be Saka and Martinelli. And in this game, I want to see an impact. But it's that midfield is where we need to improve. And that's why I think the introduction of Ethan Nwaneri in this game could be a very clever move. Now, in the Newcastle game, we saw it was a big physical battle. Mikel Arteta didn't want to start him in that game. But I'm looking at this game against Inter Milan, and they are a very, very good side. They've got some great players who we will speak about in a minute, so we do need to be careful. But Ethan Nwaneri against a team that probably plays slower football than Arsenal in a league that's slower. They had a lot of passing, a lot of technicality. So I think Ethan Nwaneri against Inter Milan can work. I want to get your guys' thoughts on that. Do you play Nwaneri or do you stick with Trossard in that position, who in my opinion struggled so much in the last game and seems to struggle when he starts? He's a brilliant super sub, and that's probably hard on Trossard because I'm sure he doesn't want to be known as a player who just comes off the bench and makes a difference. But unfortunately, it seems like Trossard's best position is coming off the bench and making an impact in games. So I wouldn't mind seeing Ethan Nwaneri. In terms of Arsenal's form in the Champions League this season, we've been very, very good. We've won the last two games and we drew the first game, which was against Atalanta. So I'm not too worried about Arsenal's form in the Champions League. Like I said, I do want to win this game, of course, because you want to gain the points and you want to give yourself some momentum for that Chelsea game on the weekend. So it's a very, very important game. In terms of Inter Milan, we're playing a very, very good side. This isn't the Inter Milan of a few seasons ago where you're thinking this is a former good team. This team is second in Serie A, only 1 point behind Napoli, and they've got some killers in that team. They've got some very, very good players capable of hurting Arsenal. Our defensive line has come into question. for a couple of games this season. Last season, we were solid as a rock. This season, people are saying, why is our defence not as strong? And we will be tested. They got Marcus Thuram and Lautaro Martinez, both of who are in the top 5 scorers in the Serie A. So this is a team that can create goals and score goals. They definitely have goal scorers. So it will be interesting to see what Mikel Arteta does with that midfield and that back line to try and nullify the threat that Inter Milan will bring. Like I said, they're a technical team, very good at passing, have some good defenders as well. All in all, I think Inter Milan are a pretty balanced team. They're going to be strong. Arsenal need to perform at their highest level to get a result, because Inter Milan will be looking to score goals in this tie. Like, just some of the performances they've put on this season, they've had some high-scoring games. They've drew 4-4 with Juventus, very good team. Already in the Champions League this season, they've won 4-0, and they went to the Etihad and they drew. So don't look at Inter Milan as an easy game, as an easy tie. I'm looking at this Inter Milan team and saying, this is the perfect team. Like, this game could come at the right time. If Arsenal beat a strong team like Inter Milan, that will give us the confidence to push forward in the Premier League. We know we're going through a bit of a patch at the minute where everyone's undecided. Everyone's got different opinions on what should be happening. Is it good about Edu? Is it good about the team selection? Is it good about Arteta? There's so much noise in the background, and that's never a good thing to have at a football club, around a football club, in the fan base. It's always good to have an opinion, but when it's so, at times, toxic and emotional, because football's a very emotional sport, it can just cause background noise that's not really needed when you're going into a season or carrying on in a season where you're probably struggling a little bit. So Arsenal need to win this game, in my opinion, or just don't lose it. Even a draw, to be fair, wouldn't be the worst result in the world. I would be looking to win this game, like I said, because I want that momentum going in against Chelsea. There's another decision that we need to kind of bear in mind, and we need to get right, and it is the Edu one, because I had a comment in one of my videos yesterday saying, well, it could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing, and like Edu leaving, and that sounds like such a simple comment, but it is true, because we don't know what we're going to get. So it could be good or it could be bad. Like, it could be good because you could be having a guy come in with new ideas and a fresh outlook, and it could give Arsenal that boost needed to really kick on and try and push for that silverware that we've been wanting for so long at Arsenal. And it could be bad because they could hire someone from within the ranks or promote someone, or they could hire someone who's not very good at their job. So it's very interesting, and it's just something that I hope Arsenal get right. We've made so many big decisions in recent seasons, and we seem to get a lot of them right. This needs to be another one. Some people are saying this, it's not as big a deal as some people are making out, but it absolutely is a big deal, because like the amount of roles like the sporting director has is quite a lot. He's in charge of the looking after the management team, of the whole morale, of bringing in transfer, identifying players, looking after the scout. Like, they have so much under their control and leadership that it is a position that you have to get right. Mikel Arteta and Edu got on very, very well, and it was kind of a relationship where it wasn't Edu saying, I'm giving you these players and you're going to have to work with them. It was always a 50-50. There was never a player thrown on Mikel Arteta that he didn't want. So it's not going to be someone coming in and just uprooting everything and saying, like, I've got this idea for a player, you're going to have to work with them. I would imagine, now I don't know, but I would imagine Mikel Arteta would have maybe some kind of say in this sporting director, or the sporting director will come in under the understanding that he will have to work with Mikel Arteta. He won't be telling him what kind of players to sign. So I just hope it's a decision that we get right. Let me know your guys' thoughts on it. Is it a big deal that Edu left? Do you think it doesn't matter who holds that position because they're not the coach of the team, or they're not giving out tactics and everything like that? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section. Like I said, let me know your thoughts on the game against Atalanta. Would you start Ethan Nwaneri? What's your score prediction? And do Arsenal have to win this game? Is it a must win? Let me know. Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. Before you go, if you could do me a favour, just hit like on this video and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.